AM 970 WSTX.
Well, we got to switch in our other folks here. Those who don't have to leave, don't run too far. And we've got a caller from Virginia. Good morning. Welcome to Reflections.
Yeah, good morning, Douglas. How you doing?
Good. Great, fantastic, outstanding, just plain excellent.
Yeah, I'm a fellow Virgin Islander myself, David C. I could give the last name Cornwall. I grew up in the Virgin Islands, and I understand exactly what, you're talking about, the older generation not wanting to get involved with the computers and all of that stuff, working in the hospital and stuff like that. They bring in new changes, and those of us that are accustomed to paper, we are accustomed to charting one way. Then you bring in a computer, you got to learn a new way how to chart. So, it's old school versus new school. I think the program has a lot of things to say. Remind me back in the days when I was part of the boys club and we used to talk on the radio. For the young man with the Parkinson's and stuff like that, I think a lot of that is going to take time for like you said, the community to learn about Parkinson's, because when you educate the community about the disease process, then, maybe some of these facilities may open up to provide the proper help, And we are scared of computers because they're brand new to us in our generation, and the younger generation is dealing with that in school, and they're dealing with a lot of that stuff throughout, their everyday activity of living.
The Xbox, everything.
Right, the Xbox and everything. So let the younger generation know to take it easy on us, the old timers. Not saying that we're that old and we're in the grave, but like you said, the program that you incorporated the older folks with computers and stuff like that, take the time to go through it and show us. And like the young lady, she could show her dad how to do it, but maybe do a profile for him and let him see it, and then see if they could do like a survey and see how it goes. You were growing, growing up the business,
Yeah.
So
exactly. Proof of process sometimes is very required.
Exactly. And I really appreciate the program. Do me a favor if you get a chance. Broadcast the number again so that those of us that live in abroad could, interact in the program. And I appreciate the program, and you have some super young folks there doing what they're doing best. Hope they could bring the talent back to the Virgin Islands.
I think I'm going to have to bring him back next week because it's like too much to talk about.
Yeah. And one more thing I just wanted to say, if you don't mind me giving a shout-out, I would like to give a shout-out. I know it's not the appropriate time, but my cousin Lucy of Baltimore, her birthday is today.
All right.
Happy birthday, Lucy,
That's
and let her enjoy the
appropriate.
holidays. And Douglas, you guys don't drink up too much guava berry rum. So I got to go down there to celebrate,
All right.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, and thanks for calling. All right.
Problem.
Best of the season to you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Right, good. All right. Well, I don't know if Miss Dunn left already, but I already see how we need to do part 2 of this. You think that's possible?
We'll see who's still around.
Who's still around? That's right. The 31st. I'm going to be here, God willing. All right. Okay. Well, keep it in mind, folks. If I don't impinge too much on the party, okay, we got a lot to talk about, and those who are here, that's fine. But those who are leaving, we don't get this chance very often. You can listen to WSTX on TuneIn. You can use the TuneIn app to get to WSTX, and they've also got WSTXradio.com that you can connect to us here. And if you're in a situation you want to call, 773-0390, 773-0490. All right, but our Juve are young people discussing their lives and how it's going to impact the Virgin Islands and other things is going on. All right, no violence here, no police stopping, nothing. Okay, all right. Well, we got some new faces at the mic, so we need some intros. Let's go.
Hello, good morning. My name is Deondra Ebbesen. I guess I'm a part of the staycation part of the group.
Right.
I've been home for a year now. I'm a registered nurse. I'm currently at a doctor's office. Won't put him out there because I didn't ask him.
Yeah.
But I just had my interview for the hospital yesterday, so I'm waiting to hear from that. I'm pretty sure it all went well, but still being humble and waiting on that call. But I'm home, so
All
that's
right.
me.
Okay, good.
Good morning. My name is Odari King. The grandson of Elizabeth Betsy Lynch. have to pour her name out there because she's very proud of me. I'm in the United States Air Force stationed out in California. This is my 4th base since I've been in. But I'm here on vacation until, I'm not going to say when.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad to be home.
All right, fantastic.
Hey, good morning, Doug. Good morning, listeners. My name is Charles Moorehead. I'm actually a part of the staycation crew, actually. Been home for 2 years now, graduating December 2013 from Cedar Hill University. Currently, I'm working for the Department of Human Services in their MIS department. I'm also in the Virgin Islands National Guard part-time, so that's what I do. You could say a weekend warrior, and I enjoy what I do. Glad to be home, love being home, glad to be here.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, you know, the hospital could play cute all they want to, but they need nurses, okay? I mean, it's okay to be humble. That's a good trait.
Right.
But they need nurses, and I'm glad to see you going full circle and coming home to participate in, I should say, being home to participate in our healthcare system here. Of course, my mom is a nurse, my sister is a nurse. My sister worked with the public health, Dr. Coop and all those folks over the years. She retired from that. So she's the first female of general rank in uniformed services. And I say that the opportunities and the heights that you can reach are limitless, okay?
Right.
So you just keep on with what you're doing in that sense. Okay, Mr. Air Force, all right.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what was your motivation for going into the Air Force?
Growing up, I'm the middle child of 3.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest sister graduated 2 years before me, and knowing that my family wouldn't be financially stable to pay for both me and her in college, I've told her she can go ahead college, I'll go ahead join the military. And so far, I can't lie, it's been one of the greatest decisions I've ever made.
Well, I'm glad for the last part that you said in particular, because first of all, I really admire your thinking. Okay, because when I was in college, I got me a part-time job and everything else. I said, my parents work hard. Let me see if I could carry the load myself, And in that context, it all worked out. So I'm really admire that trait. But the thing is, we can't sell the military in terms of opportunities either,
Agreed.
And I say that some folks got this idea about going in the military is them who can't make it in school. Military is school.
That's true.
Military is school, and you better pass, otherwise you're out the door.
Exactly.
So have all respect for everybody who in the military. They're in school, and they gotta go through their training for their specialties and everything.
Exactly.
So military is school. Don't think military is no cop out. It's school and serious business. They ain't looking for no second rate. They're looking for first class in every step of the way. All right, so definitely get that message out there. Have any of you in the course of the last year or so had the opportunity to talk to any of our students in our schools or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
That is it.
Well, if you got favorite teachers, network with your favorite teachers and see every now and then maybe you could visit a classroom and say, hey, I was where you are, and this is what I'm doing now, so forth and so on. And get them to thinking.
I actually was approached by a coworker in my HR department to speak to the upward bound students at UVI in 2016, sometime in the upcoming
Fantastic.
months. Also to my former high school, St. Joseph High School, I spoke to the principal, Father John Mark, in regards to going to the classrooms and speaking to either 9 to 12 graders, because I would love to share my experiences with them, because just like them, I was in that same seat they're in right now, wondering what I'm going to do in the next 4, 5, 6 years, where am I going to be, where am I end up. And I must say I came up pretty well for the most part, and I would like to share that experience, get them some type of motivation so they could look forward to the future and not just think that, there's no help for them out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. IT guy, we've got, I'm sure you've been following the NGN, Next Generation Network, because you have to work with it, okay? We have labs out there.
I did heard when I came back home that VINGN was starting up this program where they're going to open up labs and classrooms.
Right,
so
you got boys and girls clubs and other locations. You know what their biggest challenge right now is? People to run those labs. Okay? And I say this, community Community, are you listening? We gotta figure out a way. I don't care if you're a senator, your governor, your whoever, or your community get together. We gotta figure out a way how we gonna get these things staffed. Because we look to people like yourself and what you've trained for and come home for the jobs, and everything is somewhere between computers and apps and coding. And you start saying those key words, computers, apps, coding, whether it's in the mental health, research, or everyday business or consumer aspects, you're talking about the opportunities and the jobs of tomorrow, even in the military, even in IT, even in communication. So, community, listen up. We got all these labs, but you need to check and see how many of them are actually opening and function to the capabilities. And I say that it's your labs. The federal government gave the money to between WAPA and the local government for you so that your children could benefit. All right, so I'm deliberately instigating in that regards because I want to hear that folks are conflicted about whether or not they're gonna go to this lab or that lab, not which one is open. Okay. All right. So, what was your motivation for getting involved in computers?
My motivation to get into IT actually started at home. Actually, I had two older brothers I live with at home, and they're pretty much my role models I looked up to. You know, in terms of going to high school, just like them, going abroad to college, wanted to be just like them. And when they went abroad, they studied computers in different fields. One did, I think, computer networking. One did like database analysis. So I was like, that seems like, you know, the field to go into. Plus, knowing that everything was getting computer based right before I left, and always when you looked at the top listings of career choices, computers and IT was usually within that top 10, top 15 range of jobs in the future that would be very successful. And that's why I started, you know, with computers. Okay,
so what was your motivation in terms of nursing?
Nursing was actually not my first plan. Like, it sounds crazy, but literally every female in my family is a nurse. If you know the Ebbesens from Christian Stem, my grandma, Miss Ebbesen, Enid, she's a nurse. My auntie Violet's a nurse. My auntie Vivi, who's now the commissioner of human resources, she's a nurse. My mom's a nurse. I have aunts on my mom's side that's a nurse. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to follow this trade.
Don't feel bad.
We do something
we got
else.
The same thing going on in my family too. Miss Ebbesen and my mom is like this, you know what I'm saying?
So it's like, you know, just trying to do something else. But in high school, I don't know if they still do it now, but we were, you know, required to do community service. And I spent a lot of time with my mom anyway, so why not do it at the hospital? I'm there all the time for no reason, so why not get community service hours? And from then, like, it just sparked the interest, and I just felt it. Like, I really understood why there's so many nurses in my family. Like, we're a helping family, and that was the best thing for me. So I went off to school, Florida A&M, got my BSN in nursing, and I'm back home.
Okay, well, folks out there, this is WSTX 970 AM on your radio dial or digital tuner. You can also reach us through the WSTXradio.com and the TuneIn Radio app on your smartphone. All right, but the bottom line is it's your community-minded station to have an opportunity to interact with these young people. 773-0390, 773-0490. But you know, I think what's happening more than anything is that this conversation is so interesting that people are listening. And no, I'm serious. I walk down the road all the time and people stopping, yeah, I like what you are talking about, and so forth and so on. But they won't call because they're enjoying the conversation and what's going on. And that's also why we put it on YouTube, to make sure that people can get the conversation, because a lot of folks, by their job or whatever, they don't really have the opportunity to listen like that. Okay, in that regards. Okay, how many of you in here have a website? Curious.
Working on it. I'm working on it.
Working on it. Okay, and how many of you in here on Facebook?
Everyone.
I have to ask any.
I'm not on the Facebook.
Okay, what about Twitter?
Nah.
LinkedIn?
It's supposed to.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's
Well, we're
somewhere.
all Facebook friends.
Well, you know, one of the things that and the reason why I ask that is because Facebook sometimes get a bad rap and sometimes it gets the rap it deserves, okay? And the bottom line is a great networking tool, but we do have some folks out there that just have poor judgment about what they put on there. Well, then you stop following them, and if it's that bad, you unfriend them or whatever the bottom line is. But all of a sudden, from a social perspective, you can keep in touch with your high school friends, your college friends, your family, from anywhere in the world through Facebook. And so that's the most redeeming factor of Facebook. So for those who are busy knocking it, I'm just saying, not that you should try it, but they're redeeming values in there also. Oh, we got another caller here. Good day, caller. WSTX Reflections, and a bunch of young people to talk to somebody. All right, I guess they weren't ready. Okay, yeah, and then the other thing is that information overload. How do you handle information overload? Well, I got thought to suggest a couple of suggestions that I think you would probably come back to me and say if you understood my context, because that's a broad question. You handle information overload with things like things-to-do lists, calendars, reminders. Okay, how many people got a calendar on their computer and they're always forgetting? Okay, so that's why I have a calendar so I don't forget, you know. But a lot of folks don't take the time. They have the Microsoft Office complete with a calendar already in it, but sometimes it's intimidation. Sometimes it's not just taking the time. If 5 minutes can save you 3 hours, it's worth the investment. But again, some folks keep putting off, kind of like your dad. Okay, and if you change the locks, you let us know. Yeah, so because information overload, and I say that now, when we look at, I mentioned Facebook, I mentioned Twitter. Well, I'm on Facebook, but I was on there for a long time and did not utilize it simply because I had not found how I would use it constructively. Once I found myself in this studio and I realized, well, hey, this is a great way to keep in touch with people, let them know what the show's covered, let them know how to get to the show. All of a sudden it was like an epiphany. This is how Facebook will work for me, among other things, okay? But I'm not on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, but mostly on Facebook than on LinkedIn. And the thing is, at some point in time, you have to, how should I say, if you're not a corporation that you can assign somebody to monitor every one of these, you have to decide how you're going to optimize your use of social media. Otherwise, I know a lot of folks and they tell, oh, I'm on Twitter, I'm on this, on that, but what's it doing for you? Right. You know, and that's the thing. So you got to figure out your fit in that regards. Okay. That's a quick question. What's your area expertise in the military? In
supply technician.
Supply technician.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you deal with logistics and those type of things.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. And when I was in the military, that was one of the areas that I had training in was logistics. Yeah. Okay. And logistics is important. I got a teenage daughter. I don't have my gun license yet, but I'm working on it. I got a teenage daughter anyhow. And if I leave it to her in her upcoming years, we would have a big party tomorrow planned today. And I say, can't work that way. You know, and I wouldn't use the word logistics with her at that age, but you know, you'd have to let parents know and availability of their kids to come, and then the food and the staging and everything. So you have this big fancy word called logistics, but it's simplified in a word called planning. And you got to plan, all right, in that context. Now, I think I suffering from talkitis. I'm going to quiet down a little bit more, okay? So, and give you all a few minutes to talk about what you want to talk about. Ladies first. I know nursing and so forth. What other interests do you have?
Right now, it's really just focusing on nursing. Like, after college, it was a weird time. And like Te'ron said in his advice to the kids, don't really compare yourself to other people's lives. Everybody's journey is different. Unfortunately, before I even graduated from college, like a couple of days before my graduation, one of my close friends passed. Came home for her funeral, and then my grandfather ended up passing, a couple of days after that. So this year for me has been a year of self-learning, trying to figure out myself, getting on a path and, just navigating. Yeah, just navigating life and seeing who Deondra is, figuring out who she is, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. Like you said, with Facebook, you gotta, know who to work with and who not to work with, and that applies to your everyday life as well, who you need to be involved with, who you don't need to be involved with. Cut off a few things, and everything is now blossoming for me now past my NCLEX. That's probably the hardest test of your nursing career ever. So just figuring out who I am. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. And like I said, I had that interview yesterday, so with everything, we're speaking life into this job. We're going to speak life into this job right now. So, as I go on and all the opportunities that I can get, I'm just trying to grab everything that I can handle.
Fantastic.
Well, for me, I've been in the military for the last 7, almost 8 years. So I did this straight out of high school. It's been I'll say this much, I've learned a lot on the way compared to how I was when I was in high school until now. Like, the biggest thing I got out of being in the military is discipline. Being taught what to do and what not to do. You learn that at home, but you don't apply it until you go out on your own.
Right.
So I've learned, like I said, I learned a lot. One of the things I've learned as well is about friends, to touch on. I heard a quote when I was younger. It was so simple. One thing I've never lost is a friend. You don't lose friends. If you lost them, that means they were never your friend to begin with.
Right.
You're going to have your differences. You're not going to get along in life. But if you really appreciate that person, if you're really friends, you figure it out. You understand what's wrong, what's right. Hopefully they won't lead you down the wrong path. Then that's not your friend. And another thing that I was big on when I came back home is, like you said, I want to be able to talk to students and stuff like that. When I grew up, I didn't really have an active duty Air Force personnel coming out to my school telling me, hey, this is what you need to do to join the military. I had to go making phone calls here, talking to somebody in the Army to help me out with Air Force stuff. There was nobody there handing out pamphlets to me to let me know, hey, you need to dial this number to go get information about joining. So that's one thing that I would like to do while I was here, get somebody in the active duty Air Force to talk to kids, not to just tell them, oh, you're going to get a full, they're going to help you pay for college, but, touch base on, hey, it's discipline, it's hard work, it's a lot of sacrifices you have to do in being in the military.
Yeah, I think we're talking about mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
We're really talking about
Exactly.
mentoring, and that's why I asked you about the classroom type of thing. If you get a chance, whoever your favorite teachers are, or whatever teachers because it's different when you walk in there and you have a picture of you in uniform, or so that they could say, well, okay, I'm an ordinary person just like everybody else. Go out and party and eat, whatever the case may be. And especially in the younger ages, the impressionable ages, to talk with them about what you do and everything else. It all comes in as part of what can make a difference in a child's life. I studied political science, and I got into political science because of someone that came to my school and talked about current affairs and world affairs, and it was so intriguing to me that that's something that I studied. I wish somebody had come to the school and talked to me about computers and programming and networking, because as I found out, that was my life in another parallel universe that I'm constantly trying to jump into. And so it makes a difference. It's important in that sense for every one of you, when you get a chance, to go to a school and talk to those kids and tell them about your journey in that encapsulated way, because you are the role model that they may never get.
Right.
All right? Unless you give it. Okay? We got a caller here. Let me see. Good day, Reflections.
Good morning, Dougie.
Good morning, sir.
Listen, I'm enjoying the program so much.
All right,
because
fantastic.
I am hearing so much of St. Croix in the air. Crucian.
All right.
And one thing I glad to hear the young lady there, Miss Ebbesen, how she's picking up on her grandparents and parents and all of that. That is what we Crucians trying to be, and we different to everything else back at the reef.
That's right.
One thing that stand out in my mind for donkey years now, I go to Crucian, you know. Donkey years. I had a lump by my temple, and I was going to have surgery at the hospital. And the doctor that was going to operate, I don't know how many people remember his name, Dr. Carrell. I don't know how many people remember Dr. Carrell.
Well, not in here, but a lot of people out there.
But who was going to assist the doctor was Miss Enid, Miss Ebbesen. And the two of them standing up there right next to me. And the last thing I see was Miss Ebbesen saying a prayer. Well, that hit me, my son. I said, oh, Skit, this thing is serious? But the family-wise is like they are family to us also, because Violet and my daughter, daughter, they are very, very good. And Vincy and Violet, they were in the community band.
Yeah.
And we always get along very, very good. And the Ebbesen family goes way, way back.
Way, way back.
What I'm hearing now is the fruits are bearing. I seen some young plants coming up now. What I ain't seen them, but I hearing about them. And this program is so positive. You hear me? There is so much positive when I hearing the different people talking there and what they would like to do to see this island improve. It's so easy to think on the negative things, but this program is very positive, and I like to see the positive mind that these people exposing, man.
Well, we just have to hope that those who are above them going to listen to some of what they got to say. Because that's the challenge, you know. You got open mind, but I know you know enough of them that don't out there.
But the thing is this, they have a good leader right there in you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to do my part.
You bring this out because you know this is the growth we have to start picking up on. The young children and have a different mentality now. So, man, I have to compliment you on your program. And Miss Ebbesen, say hello to your grandmother.
I will.
And Vincy and Violet, Audrey. Okay, you all have a blessed day and a blessed Christmas.
Same to you.
Same to you. All right. Good cigar.
Good cigar.
All right. Good. Yeah, that's a very good friend of mine that calls in from time to time, and it's good that these things are being recognized. There's something very unique about growing up in the Virgin Islands, folks. Very unique, and we should wear it proud like a badge, okay? From whether it's how you speak to how the things that you do as a matter of culture, so forth and so on. I'm not talking about ingraining anything negative, you know, in that context. I'm not saying ingrain something that's negative. You got a lot of positive going on, and you got to be proud of it in that regards, okay? But you know, one of the things that I see, I really enjoy doing this show, Reflections, and God willing, if I'm here doing this show next year, I think this is what we're going to be doing again. Okay. Because it's a great intersection time when folks from away and folks from home can meet and talk and kind of like give a little seasoning to the public as to what it is we have out there that willing to come back or willing to contribute from out there. Because the nature of technology is such that you have a lot of local people who are in business away, who are impacting the Virgin Islands here. And I say that a lot of the websites in the government, if you go and you see who the people are and find out where they are, they're in Atlanta or DC or networking between those places. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and so it's a lot of opportunities here for networking through this program like today. It just dawned on me. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do, because otherwise there are very limited opportunities to do this now. I want to say that hopefully by next year we'll have our video conferencing in place, so that we'll be able to do it even on a bigger scale. So they'll have the show and we can tie in people through video conferencing and continue the conversation. Okay. Good morning, Reflections.
Yeah, good morning. Is this Douglas?
Speaking.
Hey, Douglas, this is David. I called back. I called earlier to talk to the young people. I'm calling from Virginia again, but just like you doing a reflection of my life, man. You know, and just want to add to everybody there. I joined the military like the young man did there, joined the army to become a soldier. Didn't have money for school, but like you said, the military was a way of school, of being in school, because I got training to become an RN like the young lady that's there. So I became an RN from having military training, you know. And within the hospital that I work, we are now involved in doing a lot of ITT stuff that, like I said earlier, old school is not involved in that, you know. So it's good to hear these young folks talk about all that stuff. Now, being in the military, you know, you learn, just to give props to the young man, logistics is what make every business function. And without logistics, your business can suffer, you know. As well as with being in the military, I had the opportunity to train and to speak to other soldiers, because as a staff sergeant, you did some training, as well as talking to your superiors, as well as talking to your subordinates. So you got the opportunity to do public speaking as well as teaching. So a lot of the teaching skills and stuff that I used when I was in the military, as well as I used with patients and stuff like that, came from learning from the Schusters, Mr. and Mrs. Schuster, who was teachers to me in the Virgin Islands, you know. So this is one of the things that, you know, just let the young folks know not to turn their heads on some of the teachers that's trying to teach them things, because communicating is one of the best way to get a message across. And if you can't effectively or do efficient communication, the message is going to be lost somewhere in between. Yep. You know. And so, you know, one thing I would like to say also is that to the young lady that's a nurse, like my wife, she could let her bachelor skill grow into becoming a master's and then PhD, because nursing is such a career, it's such a broad career that you can become a nurse at the bedside, as well as involvement in research, as well as involvement as helping some of these pharmaceutical companies grow in the type of medication that they produce for lower economical folks, you know. So don't just stop at the bedside, you know, because I did not get into nursing by virtue. That was not my first love, but I just happened to follow my wife's footstep, and nursing just grew on me, perception to what she said, you know. And
well, you know, something you said there I think is very important, is that when you go into a field, you got to really look at the breadth of the field. Right. You can't just focus, like you say, on bedside, because there's a stereotype that what nurses do. And, you know, I had to be in the hospital this weekend with family for all the wrong reasons. Everything turned out all right. But, you know, when they need to do x-rays now, they don't take you down to the room. They bring the x-ray machine down to you. So everything is changing. And these are things that also that they need to educate the public and the young people on, because the technology is such that the iPad that we use for personal pleasure, there's an equivalent that's used in hospitals and so forth and so on. And so everything, and this is, you remember with the video games and stuff, the video games, everybody decry, but a lot of kids that played those video games also became computer engineers,
Right.
Right.
pilots because of the visual acuity and reflexes. And so sometimes something you look at as bad, maybe you need to change how you look at it.
Exactly.
Exactly, because right now, video games, a lot of doctors are doing surgery through the use of a joystick.
Exactly.
You know, the hospital that I work in, these doctors are doing remote video operating brain surgery and what have you with these joysticks,
Yep.
you know, and they're doing it sometimes remotely. You
Yep.
know, they may do it in outlying areas, you know.
Well, I think the key here, though, is that the children still need guidance. That was mentioned
Right.
earlier. They need guidance. So parents, just know, don't just give them the iPad and turn them loose.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because
Right.
they'll do any and everything, not necessarily things to grow and improve themselves. But it's part of the future, and I think that the challenge is to get parents involved.
Right.
Don't
And
buy-
one more advice just to the young lady who's in nursing, because I've been in nursing now for over 20 years. Remember to always, you know, I know we all learn it in nursing school not to be judgmental and what have you, but treat the family, the parents, and even those that's going through the distress, even if they don't have any money or anything like that, as if you were in their shoe.
Oh, yeah.
And if you provide that type of care, whether there's a drug addict, a homeless person, or, you know, what have you, give them the same special kind of care that you would like to have for yourself.
Yes.
And if you provide that type of care, then nobody can say that your nursing care was not acceptable and excellent. And that's it.
Right, because there, but for the grace of God, go any one of us.
Right,
Any one of
exactly.
us, that's right.
And all of us are nurses, you know, all of us are nurses in the way we take care of family and friends and people that we love. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, and just stay safe there in Virginia. I wish you were down here sharing in some of the warm weather. I wish we could can it and send some to you, but
Hey, right now it's 79 degrees, so I enjoying a little bit of home right up here in Virginia.
okay,
So.
fantastic. Okay,
All right.
great.
And I enjoy the program, really enjoy the program, and I appreciate the fact that you did, you know, put the number again on the air so that those of us that's abroad can communicate with home.
Definitely. All right, good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, have a
No
great
problem.
holiday.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah, so you see, folks are listening from all over. It's not uncommon to get email communications from, when I talk about Denmark and all over the places. I want folks to know this ain't no joke. People all over the world. It might be that they came here one time and were intrigued, or you'd be surprised. I met this gentleman that was working in Kazakhstan, okay, at the oil refinery in Kazakhstan and Virgin Island there, and I'm saying, like, how you reach till out there? But that's the nature of the world today. It's global. You can go anywhere that your work is and do all type of great things. Now, we kind of winding down here to the last 10 minutes. All of this time belongs to you. And so if there's something in particular that you'd like to talk about, okay, and I'm saying you're here, don't feel any way about moseying on up and sharing the mic. Let's make these 10 minutes go in the context of having all of this young talent here. And also think actively about next week so you could let me know so I can plan accordingly, okay?
All right, well, Doug, I'll go and put it out there that I'm planning to go back to school in January for my master's in business administration at UVI. I plan to stay local. Since I went abroad already for college for my first 4 years, I said I'll do my master's here at home. And while I'm at UVI, I plan to actually join the ROTC program and become a commissioned officer within the National Guard. So that's one of my future goals I plan on achieving while I'm home, and to also enlighten the youth. You know, as I keep progressing, I want them to progress as well and branch out and do their own things, you know, because everybody's their own individual. And as you said, going into the schools, I would really like my fellow colleagues to do the same wherever they are, reach out to middle schools, elementary schools, high schools, colleges, and, you know, share our insight of what we have been through and try and, you know, get people that bright mind to go out there and be productive.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You mean you're not at the mic yet?
To all my youth out there, if you guys are listening, please, please, please do not limit yourself.
Right.
Like, reach for the stars. Do what you love. Don't do something just because the money is good. Do it because you want to make a difference. Do it because you're passionate about it. Like, the sky is the limit. And always remember, success does not come overnight, because I'm about to be 25 next year, and I thought I would be in like this mansion with like 3 cars, a BMW, an Audi, I'm nowhere where I need to be. Like, I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet.
Well,
So,
dreams are great, you know.
Yes.
Dreams are great.
Dreams are great, and mine are big, and I'm reaching for them, and I hope you guys have big dreams and you guys reach for them too.
We just keep shooting for the stars,
Keep
okay?
shooting for
Keep
it.
shooting for the stars. That's how it happens. Never accept where you are. Just say, I'm looking to go
Don't
further.
stop. And when you want to run, don't run. Get yourself a support system. Like, I have my parents, even though they're hard on me, make me cry sometimes. Like, I was able to stick it out because I had my support system backing me up. Because you cannot take on the world by yourself, no matter how much you think you can.
No,
You just
right.
can't. The world is too big.
And that is something that I actually had to learn and accept, especially going away. And, you know, once my parents dropped me off at college, I looked around. I was 17. I'm like, they really left me. They really left me. So, you know.
Maybe laughing all the way home, but no, you know how it is.
Yeah.
They were wringing their hands,
Yeah,
you know?
they really left me. And, you know, life is about experiences. Like she said, don't run away. You know, some things may, you know, be a little bit harder than others. Personally, for me, nursing school, every other day I wanted to quit. I called home, I cried in the car, I cried outside of clinicals. Like, it was a crying fest. But, you know, it's life. It's one of those things that you just have to live, and you have to learn and keep going. And as far as been home for a year, just some more things for the youth. That's some things I'm working on. I have a little book with some ideas. Haven't been able to get back to the community service like I have been doing, but that is a goal for me in 2016. I used to be a part of Graffiti Street for Channel 12, and that's something that I do want to bring back because that was an awesome experience for me. I was able to see a lot of places at a young age, you know, high school between like 13 and 16. I was able to go to Italy and all different types of things. And, you know, as a little person from St. Croix, that is something big. So I have some ideas for the youth. I do, like y'all were saying before, the change needs to happen. I don't know. I personally feel like it needs to start from the top, but you know, that might be for next show.
Well, you know, change has to be at all levels.
Right.
It really does have to be at all levels. It can't be sustained from the top.
Right. It can't be sustained. But
Yeah. Right. No, because I see even now where things are moving toward change, but you have a body that's resisting change, you know? So you got, and we have this tendency to look for the one person. If you chop off this head, everything else will fall in line, and it has to happen at all levels. Okay.
Back to the military. My long-term goal is finishing my bachelor's for mechanical engineering and also getting one in culinary arts. But my first passion is basketball. I've been in the military, and I've gotten the opportunity to play ball in Florida when I was stationed in Germany, in Kuwait, in California, and I didn't tell my family, but I got a scholarship to go play ball for Washington State.
All right.
So,
That makes you
I mean, it was supposed to be like a big surprise, but like for the people that are into sports, don't think the military doesn't offer that as well. They do. So don't think like, oh, you go to the military, oh, I'm going straight to war and that's all I'm gonna be doing. No, there's so many opportunities in the military that they do not broadcast to you. So do your research, ask questions, get involved with the military if you need to. It's there.
And then also to go off of what Odari said is, I have a story of where I went to Seton Hill University. I was a basketball player as well too. We played against each other in high school a couple times, and you know, I had a big dream of playing in college and whatnot. But the school I went to, I wasn't really that persistent of playing, really, because you know, I wasn't really recruited. But I still had it in my mind I wanted to play in college, and that was my dream. So what I did was one day I went to my dorm room, grabbed my shoes because I heard it was having tryouts for outsiders in the community in Greensburg to come and play for the coaches. I took my shoes, my roommate and I, he was from St. Croix too, my roommate, and we both went into the gym. They needed extra guys to play. I played, and I think right after they was like, hey, do you want to spot in the team? And that's where I got my chance to play 2 years at Seton Hill University. So, don't think that because you came from a small island that you can't do it big somewhere else,
Yep.
Always give yourself that shot. Don't limit yourself.
I would say the small island is the advantage.
Yeah.
It's the advantage.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay, I'll finish off. I think another thing is, and I guess, this is for a lot of people, but personally for me was being away and being an adult, just kind of learning how to navigate things and not being concerned about, or not being too overly concerned about with what's going on, with family and whatnot. For example, my first year of college, my mother got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I started failing like almost every class, and my mother, she's like, no, you're not gonna be, I'm.
Good morning.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
She's like, no, I need you to stay focused. Like, this is not about you, and you doing better in school, and you making it through school is what's going to help me to, want to continue. So don't worry about me, So I think it was a lot about kind of going back to what Shenelle and Deondra said about having that strong support system, and a lot of that is relying on your parents to still be parents, and you can still call them to get advice, and you can still call them and cry, and I'm sure I've called my mother at least 50,000 times, like within my first week of college, like, Mom, how do I make rice? Mom, like, how do I do simple stuff? And even now, I'm 24 and I still ask my mom what I need to do to fix my hair sometimes. So I think just realizing that you can still be a kid sometimes. You don't have to be all grown up as soon as you leave. You're allowed to still be a kid.
That's good to know. Okay, caller, you got a quick word for us? Good morning. I guess they hung up. Okay, no problem. But it's all good. All the stereotypes are just that. They're stereotypes, and don't box yourself in with stereotypes, because then you do yourself a disservice. That's the message that I tell folks. Just like someone's talking about the job, you want a job that you like doing,
Right.
and you enjoy doing, so that even if sometimes it has the ups and downs with the people and the attitudes and whatever, you gotta like the job. You can't you just for the money.
Right.
Okay, that's a recipe for failure, because
disaster.
yeah, exactly. You got to be in a job you like. Now, this has been a fantastic experience for me. I really enjoyed having you all here, and this is the staycation, vacation day before Christmas here, and so I know everybody here ain't getting no cold. I'm still waiting. I got my finger up in the air to see which way the wind blowing. If I gonna get cold or I give this Christmas. But I really want you to be safe. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
For those visiting, welcome home. For those home, thank you for being here and doing the things and sharing with all of us. Okay, we got a persistent call here. Let me see. Good morning, caller.
Yes, sir. No, I was trying to get the reggae station.
Okay, I'll put you on hold. Okay, and there's plenty of things to do, plenty to eat, plenty to enjoy, opportunity to mentor in the process, and definitely an opportunity for me to go and see this pop-up store and what all is involved in that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And as you see, I enjoy doing what I'm doing here, and so tentatively put a little mark on your calendar next year. We're going to have a little reunion, some old, some new, come back and talk about our year in review, the people's perspective as opposed to the politics and all this other stuff, and where things are and where they're going. And like I said, hopefully by then we'll have more of the high-tech tied in, so maybe we could have even more people on through video teleconference, the whole 9 yards, okay? I really, really appreciate this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, usually I have a good friend, Robert Moorehead, who would be the next person to come in here. I don't, he's not there? What? Robert turned over his show to me? Okay, well, I'm fine. I go ride. Okay, here I am trying to be the goody two-shoes and be ready for when he walk in the door. So, okay, so we got a few more minutes to work with in that regard. So we can talk about a few more things in that process. Now, any of you were here for the boat show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was.
Okay, you went?
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, you saw how packed Christianstead was?
Yes, sure.
All right.
No
okay.
parking.
No parking anywhere. Okay.
Anywhere.
And now that's one thing. But my researcher and scientist left. But he did mention something about seeing a lot more art on St. Croix. And if on Facebook, there's an organization called Clean Sweep Frederickstead, and so on their website and on their Facebook, you probably could go back and see when they did the mural in the middle of the street. It was beautiful, and a lot of other things that they did, and it's been going on in the community to uplift the place and make it look nice. So there's a lot of things going on, but. If you haven't been to the Top Hat Art Gallery or the museum in Frederickstead, if you haven't been there recently, please go. And there are a lot of local artists there that take the time out to share what they do. We have art exhibits coming up at all of those places very early next year. If you're going to be here before if you're not leaving before the weekend of the 7th, 8th, you should have a few of them going on there. Also, there's an art exhibit that's going to be here at Canagata Ballpark in the facility. If you get a chance, please go and see. It's so interesting in terms of what artists are doing here on St. Croix in that sense. And definitely, got it. Don't forget me now. Check me out on YouTube and look at the art and the artist series. And I look forward to having the young lady with her handcrafts, and let's talk about possibly doing a session with regards to that, because it's great exposure. It gets people to know the artists and how they got to being an artist, and it's very funny. Some of them sometimes very, very funny. So definitely a lot to do. Of course, there's some of the things that we just take for granted. Let me ask you something. Any of you been to the beach since you've been back?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Every day.
Okay. Anybody been Buck Island?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
We're trying to go.
Okay. All right. You're on the right track. Okay. Even to the point Udall or going to Frederickstead, the sun has been monstrous this last couple of days. Going to the west and catching that sun going down and get some pictures out there. These are things that everybody else, except our vacationers, of course, everybody else is jumping on a plane to come down here to pay money to see and do these things. Now,
And
we
it's
know.
in our backyard.
All right. Well, we know you coming for the chicken leg Johnny cake tart. We ain't coming for those things, but still.
We've been trying to get our parents to cook since last week, and nobody is cooking. I don't understand.
It's a struggle, trust me.
You see, you're spoiling. You went away. You're
Waiting
spoiling.
for her to make Johnny cake. Like,
Village open Saturday.
Okay.
Village
Okay.
open. Okay. All right. So well, it's gonna be good. You're gonna get some in the process. But most definitely, there's so much to be thankful for. There's so much to be appreciative of, and our challenge sometimes is that it's just there, so we don't see it. When I went off to college, and I practically every time I came home, somebody was coming back with me, but it was through their expressions that I really got to learn and understand the way. You need to take more attention to where it is you come from, what's there.
Exactly.
Okay?
So true.
And now my interest is going out into more of the Caribbean, because to me that's a big part of our history. I mean, the boats came over from Africa and they dropped people off different places, and a lot of times they were from the same family, end up in the different places. So in that sense, we have a rich heritage here in the Caribbean, and it just makes sense for us to know more about it. But then again, you come back, that's like investing and land don't spoil and those type of things that we don't get in school sometimes, okay? So anyhow, that's for me. Okay. So anyhow, I see some folks reaching like they're gonna kick me out of here in a few minutes. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I have this one song that I want to play. I think it is only appropriate that we play this one song, and I know everybody. It's the spirit. It's the season. Okay, it's the season. So let me get ready for this one here. Let me see. We on?
You might need that. You might need that.
That come Christmas, there'll be many gifts from Santa. Oh, 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 oh. How will Santa get here? There is no reindeer in my country. He'll have to borrow me neighbor donkey. Oh, 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 oh. How will Santa get here? Oh, 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 oh.
All right, folks. That looks like it's going to be it for Reflections today. So everybody, one time, let's wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
The yard has no snow, the house has no chimney. So how will Santa really get to me? Oh, 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 oh. How will Santa get here? If his house is so far, far from Antigua, how he's going to get across all that water?